Beautiful day, Patriots. How are you? I've had to start a fire last night and also again tonight, and I'm woken up just to add a little bit of fire to the fireplace, or wood to the fireplace, and want to talk about a few things. And you know the world is going to be deceived, and um, well, let's just start it off. We Q is a deception. Q is a deception. And all of us in the world, every single one of us as human beings, have been deceived before. And it hurts, and we cry and complain, and we don't want to go forward. And we blame people. And if we're not careful, we even ignore the fact that we were deceived and continue believing the lie. And before President Trump was actually elected, I was going around telling people that different things like Agenda 21, things like witchcraft, and all kinds of pertinent ways the world works. When I first heard Donald Trump speak, the thing that attracted me to him was that he was not politically correct in his speech, and we knew that that was the political agenda, was political correctness to take away freedom of speech. So that's what was attracted to me. I instantly went like, whoa, wait a minute, you guys, maybe. Well, at least I don't think I was like telling anybody about him or saying I was supporting him, but I liked the guy right off the bat in that sense. I started listening to him run, and as so often in politics, we just are so glad the other person didn't win, and that was the case when he ran against Hillary. I was just so ecstatic that anybody won but her. Especially somebody that seemed to be then bucking the establishment. Yeah. And then when Q came about, it was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. And I fell for the deception all the way. All the way to the point that I was able to accidentally influence others by the timestamp and gap code that was involved with the Q. And, you know, at a certain point, me doing these things, I was realizing, wow, what a cult this is. That these people, the Q community is not trying to really educate people, and that it's really being controlled by a bunch of nefarious type of energy. And we can see the Q community is still just, really wants politics. And even the people within the timestamp and gap code, I'm really sad to say and share that, that I accidentally wasn't able to bring people to the Bible and Jesus Christ. That it appears that the timestamp and gap code has done nothing more than just bring people more into politics and their hope in man. And when we don't know our history, we can fall for the great deception so easily. And that's where we're at right now. I mean, I could go back into how our presidents, like the Bushes, because we've had two Bushes, right? But their daddy was super involved with the Nazis and the World War II. And if he was financially involved in World War II with the Nazis and supplying both sides of the war, and then his sons become president of America, and if you know anything about Project Paperclip, and then you step back and look at the whole world and know about the Agenda 21 with the UN, you can literally realize, oh my goodness, man, I've been duped. And I accidentally was helping the wrong agenda inside. And that's why I stayed within the Q community for so long, to sit there and be here at the moment to maybe kind of help some of the people break free of that delusion. And the Q community still wants to 100% support Donald J. Trump. But they forget and overlook and don't want to talk about that he's the one that fast-tracked the vaccine. And then another thing that I just learned tonight that I'd forgotten about most likely, and and just overlooked. When you're being blind, you don't look and see these things. Oh no, I couldn't remember exactly when I heard it first time. God bless her heart. But again, I just saw it a minute ago. It reminded me of that. We have these FEMA camps, these detention centers. If you don't know what those are, go look at Australia. They have them. And when you are sick, they throw you in these detention camps. And you have no rights. You're sick. You are an absolute threat to society, to civilization. Right? I mean, if you've got a plague, and you could spread it, and everybody's going to die from it, we need to get you into a quarantine immediately. And just like the vaccine, President Trump authorized it with executive orders to be able to be made for the public. And of course, at that time, everybody was like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it because of President Trump. But now that President Trump's out and the left is doing it, of course, they all are pushing it. So you can see how they work together. Right and left, Democrat and Republican, they all work together for the same team. Absolutely. Right? And so now back to the whole subject. We're talking about how Q is a psyop and how Q is supposed to be President Trump. But President Trump is the one with the vaccine. He also did... Oh, my dog's a bit confused if he wants to go outside or not. It's so cold he decided not to. Back to the FEMA camps and the quarantine like they're doing down in Australia as the example. And here in America, we have these camps all over the place. And President Trump is the one that put the executive order in, making it legal for the government to put anybody at any given time that is deemed to be physically ill into these camps. And there's nothing you can do. Just like with the Patriot Law, they can arrest anybody under terrorism and hold you indefinitely without court of law because you've been deemed a terrorist. Okay, now that's all fine and dandy if you really arrested, dangerous people, but if you use the law to your, which governments do, correct? So what I'm trying to do, and I'm doing a really bad job about it, but again, who made the law legal for Americans to be rounded up and put into FEMA camps because of COVID? President Donald J. Trump did. And then he's out of office, and then the left, again, that side, the side that Q talked about, is in charge again. And all those people are in charge again. And people within the Q community say, trust the plan. It's the world order. We've been duped. And the only way, just like finding Jesus Christ's way, is you have to realize that you've been duped by man throughout your whole entire life. And that every time we follow man or have hope in man, we will be let down. And if we follow government and man, they'll lead us straight on to the FEMA train tracks, which is now known as the Trump train. FEMA tracks, Trump train. Woo woo.